You might have been hearing Arvid Lindblad's name more often than usual, and there's a good reason for it. The buzz isn't just hype anymore. Things have taken a serious turn now that the young racer has officially been handed a super license by the FIA. This move alone changes everything. It's not every day that a 17-year-old is compared to someone like Max Verstappen, yet that's exactly what's happening here. Now, getting such praise is one thing, but Red Bull seems to believe there's substance behind the talk. They're already working him into their Formula One plans. What makes it even more interesting, Lindblad is expected to take part in a few FP1 sessions in the 2025 season. That means real-world experience at the highest level, not just sitting on the sidelines. And with that kind of opportunity on the horizon, everyone's asking the same question. Is 2026 the year he becomes a full-time F1 driver? If it happens, his arrival could set off a major reshuffling inside the Red Bull camp. The team is clearly planning something big, with Verstappen's long-term presence no longer guaranteed and other drivers under pressure to perform. The door is swinging open for fresh talent like Lindblad. His rapid rise through the ranks has forced the team's leadership to think far ahead. But this isn't just a gamble. Red Bull isn't just throwing him in to see what happens. They're preparing him methodically. Now that his super license is sorted, they're moving quickly. He's scheduled to get behind the wheel during FP1 events next year. On top of that, Lindblad is also set to test Red Bull's cars under TPC regulations at Imola soon, the same strategy Mercedes used for Antonelli before locking him in for a future seat. Red Bull's leadership, Helmut Marko and Christian Horner are making their intentions clear without saying much at all. They want Lindblad race-ready by 2026, and that could mean serious changes for other drivers in the system. If Arvid does end up stepping into a race seat by 2026, the ripple effects within Red Bull's driver lineup will be hard to ignore. The one most likely to feel the pressure first, Isaac Hayar. Current plans suggest he could be bumped up to Red Bull's main team. But if Arvid proves himself quickly, it's possible Hayar's promotion might be short-lived. And then there's Yuki Tsunoda, who could be facing the harshest reality of all being pushed out entirely. Helmut Marko hasn't been shy about what the team expects. He recently gave a pretty blunt warning to Tsunoda. If the performance doesn't improve, especially after the Imola weekend, Red Bull will be forced to make some difficult calls sooner than later. The clock is ticking, and there's no time to fall behind when younger drivers are showing this kind of promise. What makes Lindblad stand out so much? Apart from his pace, which has been impressive from the very beginning, the team sees a level of focus and mental toughness that's rare. For someone his age, only 17, yet he's already shown the maturity and control of a seasoned racer. Marko described him as a driver who can handle the pressure of full races and keep his head in high-stakes situations, something Red Bull desperately needs. The team also has a gap to fill when it comes to backup drivers. With Ayumu Iwasa already serving as the reserve, scheduling issues with the Japanese racing calendar mean they needed someone else they could rely on. That's where Lindblad fits in, not just for the future, but for the present as well. It's a ruthless side of the sport, but that's the reality at this level. Red Bull believes they've done everything they could to handle the situation fairly, but ultimately, if someone has to step aside to make space for Lindblad, then that's just how things will unfold. The expectations are sky high, and with the way things are shaping up, the team seems convinced that Arvid isn't just the future. He's someone who might take on a leading role much sooner than expected. Red Bull clearly sees Lindblad as a long-term asset. If all goes to plan, he could find himself racing alongside Max Verstappen, or whoever takes that seat, by the time he's ready for full-time competition. But make no mistake, someone will have to move out for that to happen. And right now, Yuki Tsunoda looks like the most vulnerable. Tsunoda's situation is unfortunate. He's been waiting for years to step up to the main Red Bull team, and just when the chance seems close, the opportunity might slip away. Even if he gets promoted, there's no guarantee the car will meet his expectations. That's something we've seen time and again, drivers moving up from Racing Bulls, formerly AlphaTauri, to Red Bull, only to find the car behaves in a completely different way. That adjustment alone has tripped up more than one rising talent. It's not just Tsunoda who should be looking over his shoulder. If Hajar doesn't deliver top performances in his new role, he too could be under threat. The gap between the junior and senior teams isn't just about speed, it's about pressure, consistency, and adapting instantly to top-tier competition. Lindblad's rise is making things uncomfortable for both of them. What's happening now is a subtle shift in Red Bull's future planning. The young British driver is knocking on the door with serious intent. He's already creating pressure, and he hasn't even raced in Formula One yet. That alone speaks volumes about how highly Red Bull rates him. When asked about his future, Arvid kept things modest. He said he's proud to even have the chance to take part in Formula One test sessions, but also admitted that nothing is guaranteed. According to him, there are still talks pending with Red Bull, and while he's grateful, he doesn't know for sure what will come next. His focus, for now, is on using the opportunity well and letting the rest unfold naturally. There have been plenty of rumors swirling that Lindblad might get a one-off shot to drive for Red Bull, now that he has a super license, even if just for a single race. but Arvid was quick to clarify that the request for his license was submitted way back in February, long before any speculation started gaining traction. So the idea that this is directly tied to Verstappen's current situation might be just coincidence at least. That's how Lindblad sees it. He mentioned that Red Bull probably has a clearer picture of the bigger strategy than he does. In his own words, he wasn't involved in the deeper conversations about timing or future plans. What he knows for sure is that he's been given a shot, and he's ready to make the most of it. Behind the scenes, however, Red Bull is moving carefully. Nothing has been made public yet, because bringing Lindblad into Formula One will almost certainly come at someone else's expense. That kind of reshuffling isn't taken lightly. It's a competitive environment, and when you have multiple young drivers all trying to prove themselves at the same time, things get tense. Right now, the seat next to Verstappen is possibly the most hyper-sure position in Formula One. Has had 5 long years trying to prove he's ready, and just when it seemed like he was next in line, the car he finally got his hands on didn't live up to expectations. That's a harsh reality. And adding to his challenge, both Hajar and Lindblad are rising rapidly and being talked about as the future of the team. Unless Tsunoda starts putting points on the board consistently, starting with the races from Austria onward, the pressure will only build. It's now or never for him. And that kind of situation is mentally exhausting for any driver. When asked about his current situation, Yuki Tsunoda opened up about the stress that comes with this level of competition. He explained that while every driver aims to be at the front, the weight of expectations can sometimes make the experience less enjoyable. Still, he sees it as a chance to grow and show what he's capable of. That mindset is important. But, in the Red Bull system, mental strength alone may not be enough. It's worth remembering how quickly things change in this sport. Lawson's demotion earlier in the season made him one of the shortest-serving drivers in the Austrian team's history. That sent a loud message to everyone. Results matter more than promises. Now all eyes are turning toward Lindblad. He'll be getting track time in upcoming FP1 sessions and will take part in official tests. These moments will be crucial in shaping what comes next. He's already the youngest driver to earn both a pole position and a race win in Formula 2. Not just impressive, but historic. And beyond that, he's found unique ways to stay in the spotlight. Recently in the UK, Arvid even pulled off a stunt, becoming the first F1-linked driver to score a goal using an F1 car. It made headlines, but more importantly, it showed his willingness to stand out and entertain. Right now he's fighting for the F2 championship, a huge task in itself, but his true goal lies ahead. Formula 1. And judging by how Red Bull treats its youth program, there's a real possibility he could line up beside Max Verstappen or his successor by 2026. Lindblad has been compared to Verstappen often, but he chooses not to dwell on it. In his own words, he respects the accomplishments of the 4-time champion, but feels it's too early to draw comparisons. His focus is on racing well, staying sharp, and proving his worth on the track. That's what any top driver should aim for. As pundits like Johnny Herbert have pointed out, we'll only truly know where Lindblad stands when, or if he gets a chance to race on equal terms with Verstappen. With the sweeping changes coming in 2026, Red Bull is being smart about checking how its young drivers adapt, because no one knows for sure how the new regulations will affect the performance of their cars. And while Lindblad's future isn't locked in yet, one thing is clear: the door is open. But for him to walk through it, someone else will have to step aside. That's the reality of Formula One, where potential is exciting, but pressure is constant. The question now is, will Arvid Lindblad become the next star for Red Bull? And how will this shake up their lineup for the seasons ahead?